Queen, her gold carriage alone is made of 4 tons of solid gold,
Wow.
worth over $370 billion at today's gold prices. The Bank of England Nominees Limited was established to hide the Queen's investments. Secrecy about her wealth protects her. Government and banking officials inform the Queen about where to invest her wealth. That's called insider trading, and it's illegal. But the Queen gets away with it scot-free. Why? Because she's the Queen, and she's immune to prosecution.
That must be very nice. That is a nice position to be in. You above all prosecution because, hey, you're the Queen. So you get to inside trade. You get to break laws. I once said that laws are for poor people. Okay, people with money and power, they don't deal with laws. Okay, the only way they deal with laws is if they have multiple people who are victims of whatever crime they did. But there have to be multiple victims. 1 or 2 people, they can dismiss those charges. They can get those charges dropped. And if you're a royalty, you can do whatever you want. Must be nice. Let's go in.
The Queen owns more than 300 residences, including castles and palaces, crown jewels, over 27,000 masterpieces, prize racehorses, and a fleet of Bentleys and Rolls-Royces. Her colossal wealth also includes crown land and investments that she inherited from her black nobility ancestors. The Queen's crown estate includes over 50% of the UK's coastline, as well as Regent Street and Windsor Great Park. Her trillions in wealth are passed down to her descendants, untaxed. Would British tourism collapse if the monarchy was abolished? No, statistically, Buckingham Palace doesn't even make the top 20 list of tourist attractions.
Do you know how much the Queen is worth? 17 trillion pounds. That's $30 trillion. She could end world hunger and poverty tomorrow.
Besides insider trading and tax-free income, the slave trade and drug trade.
Wait a minute, did they say the slave trade? Did they just say the slave trade and the drug trade? Okay, that will be key later on. Let's go back in.
Queen Elizabeth I started the British slave trade in 1564. As head of the Church of England, her slave trading of African blacks upset the moral foundations of the Church. Queen Elizabeth II is now head of the Church of England. 200 years after the slave trade was abolished, the Church was pressured into confessing its horrific crimes and apologizing for profiting from the African slave trade.
Now, with all of these billions and trillions, have there been any reparations paid to these people? I'd be interested to know, and if so, how much? That carriage alone is worth what, 300-something billion dollars? I mean, that's let's start with and let me add this. The carriage is made of African gold. African gold. Just keep that in mind. Let's go back in.
At first, the Queen and the Church only admitted to owning slaves and plantations, but the public soon discovered that the Church had given their blessing to something far worse. The Church had approved the beating, mutilation, rape, kidnapping, and murder of tens of millions of Africans by declaring that Africans had no soul.
Wow.
This gave the Church...
So African people, black people, we have no soul. How can that be measured is what I would like to know. Unless you look at a certain people and you don't even see them as people. So I guess if you don't see them as people, then they must not have a soul. And you are superior. Why? Because you have weaponry. It's not genetic. It's not physical strength. It's just weaponry. Tools. You made better tools. So then that makes you automatically a better it makes you human and makes black people and African people devalued. They don't even qualify as human. Meanwhile, you make a point to take all their gold and their people, which is even more valuable than the gold. Let's go back in.
Church a divine license to profit from their diabolical crimes. Even more lucrative than Queen Elizabeth's slave trade was Queen Victoria's drug trade. Opium was grown and manufactured in the British-owned opium factories of British India.
Wow.
China banned the importation of opium, but once the British monarch secured a drug trade monopoly, over 17,000 illegal chests of opium worth millions were forced onto the Chinese population. The British waged 3 drug wars on China to force them to pay for the illegally imported opium. China's emperor didn't stand a chance against the British East India Company gunboats and Royal Navy. The British destroyed, plundered, looted, and raped their way along the coast of China until there was nothing left to loot or plunder.
Now, keep in mind, this is all under the British monarchy. This is all under the British monarchy. It wasn't even just black people. It was Asian people as well. Let's go back.
On August 29, 1842, the Treaty of Nanking forced the Chinese government to pay £15 million to the British merchants to open up its ports to opium trade and to cede Hong Kong to the British. This was the ugly origin of Hong Kong's 155 years as a stolen British Crown colony.
There are people who believe that they have a God-given right to rule over others.
Wow, that's a line he just dropped. I'm not gonna call it a bar because it's disgusting, but it's a line he dropped. There are people who thought that they were chosen ones, and they felt that they should rule over all other people. Let's go back in.
They believe that their outward appearance is superior to all others. They harbor selfish ambitions to be rich and to have power over what they describe as common people. They lie, cheat, steal, strangle, stab and slash their way to power. They believe that their actual willpower, what the British occultist Aleister Crowley described as the will of Thelema, the royal will, must be obeyed. Literally millions of people have been slaughtered at the behest of the royal lust for war, and thousands of people have been assassinated so that demonic dukes and killer queens can reign supreme.
That is crazy. Now, was a professor, okay, in Carnegie Mellon University, and she got some backlash because she said she hoped that the Queen died with excruciating pain, and it went viral. People even like Jeff Bezos, he commented on it and was like, that's horrible to say. How dare you, pretty much, talk about the Queen. And this lady was a professor. Now, there were a lot of people who actually had the professor's back. They did have the professor's back. What a lot of people don't realize is the blood on the hands of the British monarchy. It has been said that they are responsible, and this is just an estimated amount that was reported. So, take it with a grain of salt. But it said that the British monarchy is responsible for 100 million deaths. 100 million. That means practically a third of all of United States gone. That's how many people perished in order for them to have that, British monarchy. Um, you know, uh, so Bezos, he responded to this professor, and he said, "This is someone supposedly working to make the world a better place. I don't think so." So he wasn't really happy with, and this professor was a black woman. One thing I noticed is, maybe it's just me, and I could be wrong about this, but if black women don't like someone who passes away, they have no problem spewing their vitriol to the person that passed. Doesn't really matter who it is. Black women have no filter when it comes to seeing people who they don't like pass away. And I will probably say that, I'm not saying that other people don't do that. I'm sure they did that with MLK or Malcolm X. Not the women, but other people with Malcolm X. But I'm just saying that recently, just in the news, it's been a lot of black women who have been at the forefront of stating their displeasure with someone. They recently did it with Kevin Samuels too. So that's another story. That's tomorrow on Oprah. But anyway, this professor did not bat an eye. She continued to defend her beliefs, and she said this: "There's not going to be any apology from me," she said on Friday. "I stand by what I said on social media." And she was retweeted more posts discussing the horrific impact of the British colonization. Others came to her defense and called out Jeff Bezos for picking out her tweet. But it is what it is. She said, "I have been wondering why." Oh no, this is what Jeff Bezos said, I believe. "I have been wondering why Professor Anna was selected by Jeff Bezos," they wrote. Oh, that's what some of the commenters said. And this is why. Some pointed out that Carnegie Mellon had previously accepted $2 million donation from Amazon. "I already got my tweet lined up for you when you go," one told Jeff Bezos. Bezos is not really a liked person. He really not. I think a lot of people view him as being pretty greedy with Amazon, and being pretty greedy with power, and not paying the workers, and practically taking all the money. I mean, his wife, the one he divorced, his ex-wife, I should say, gave away more money than Bezos, I will say, ever could. But he could give away more money, but she obviously had less than him, and she gave away a ton of money to some charitable organizations. And I actually had a lot of respect for her for doing that. She was a billionaire many times over, but she gave away, I want to say, half of the money. I mean, she just started giving it away. And people haven't seen like, he gave away $2 million. What's that to a guy worth what, 100 something billion? Like, $2 million? That's like, you can pull that out your pocket. Like, I'm not saying he hasn't made any charitable donations. He has made some charitable donations, but I don't think it was to the degree of his ex-wife, and a lot of people just view him as greedy. So Anya, she doubled down on her stance, and she said, "If anyone expect me to express anything but disdain for the monarchy, who supervised and governed the sponsored genocide that massacred and displaced half my family, and the consequences of which they alive today are still trying to overcome, you can keep wishing upon a star. She is not apologizing. And what people have to realize is, you know, Queen Elizabeth, I'm the type of person, I don't never wish death on no one. It doesn't matter who it is. I don't never wish death upon no one. But I will say, was she a queen of the world, or was she just a queen of England? I would say she's just a queen of England, and no one else is really obligated to love and worship that monarchy, especially when their people sponsored the crown. Hit the like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace.